Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to One Fall Friday, the show where we get together every Friday to talk about what happened in WWE this week. Dave, wrestling is so stupid. Don't you know it's fake? Why do you like it? I don't understand why you like it, because it's fake.
Shut the fuck up. Wrestling isn't fake, people are.
Okay, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Yes, I am a super nerd that is a fan of wrestling. I know it's fake, but that doesn't make me enjoy it any less. I mean, soap operas are fake. Reality TV is fake. What's the difference with wrestling? I mean, yes, there's predetermined winners, but, you know, and people aren't going out there to intentionally try to hurt people, but that doesn't make it any less entertaining to watch. You know, ask any professional wrestler who hits the mat. If it hurts, they're all gonna say yes, it hurts. It's not a soft landing. So this week we have a whole lot to talk about, so let's get right to it with this past Sunday and Extreme Rules. Or not so extreme rules? Now I'll elaborate on that in a little bit, but let's go over the matches. Starting off, we have The Miz versus Dean Ambrose Intercontinental title match. This was an incredible first match. They tore the house down. Dean Ambrose, if he got disqualified, then he was stripped of the title. So he's trying to do everything he can to keep the title. Miz is trying to provoke him. He's trying to intentionally get him disqualified. And the ref was distracted. Dean Ambrose was distracted. Boom. Miz hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3. The Miz has been on an incredible run lately. He's been doing fantastic. You know, I've always been a fan of The Miz ever since he won Money in the Bank way back in the day. But ever since they paired him with his wife Maurice, it's been gold. You know, it just makes sense. And the two complement each other so well. Maurice is just such a natural heel, and you love to hate Miz, and so the two just complement each other. It just makes for really great entertaining TV. Next up, we had a tag team match, Noam Dar and Alicia Fox versus Rich Swann and Sasha Banks. Now, Sasha Banks and Alicia Fox, their part in this match, they could have been just managers that were off, ringside that got into a skirmish. When they were actually in the ring and they were wrestling, it looked more like a cat fight, and that was disappointing to me, because Alicia Fox and Sasha Banks both have way much more potential than they were able to show at this pay-per-view, at least in my opinion. But Noam Dar and Rich Swann, they kept the show going, and it was a good match. Then there was a bit of a pause with Elias Sampson coming out and playing a song, and I'm glad that he didn't mute his chords this time when he was playing his guitar, because sometimes, I mean, I don't know if he's learning on the fly or if he already knows how to play and he's just not that good. But there was one night on Raw, he was playing, and every strum, it was muted. He wasn't playing it right, and he wasn't getting hardly any sound out of it, and it was just awful. And the thing about it is, he's incredible in the ring. Elias Sampson, he's probably one of the biggest underrated people that they have right now. And with this gimmick, it's just hard to get past that to see his talent. But I don't want to talk too much about Elias. Up next was the Raw Women's Championship match. It was a kendo stick on a pole match between the champion, Alexa Bliss, and the challenger, Bayley. Now, this match was a little short, but I'm glad it was short. It made sense for it to be short. They didn't waste any time. The kendo stick came down from the pole rather quickly. There was a little bit of a race for it, and then Alexa got a hold of it. Bam! Started going to town on Bayley, beat the ever-living piss out of her, and finally slapped her with a DDT. Boom, match is over. Next up was the highly anticipated cage match for the tag team titles with Matt and Jeff the Hardys against Cesaro and Sheamus, who I think have been a bigger tag team than people originally thought they were going to be. They're doing incredibly well. They finally started to meld and act like a tag team. You know, they're dressing alike. They've got their poses down. You know, it's working out really, really well. You know, if this is something that creative came up with, or if, you know, it was actually Mick Foley's idea like they portrayed on TV, regardless, it was a good choice. There wasn't a whole lot to take from this match. There wasn't a whole lot of high points. Jeff had a really good whisper in the wind off the top of the cage. That looked really, really good. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that a lot of us were hoping that something big was going to happen. I mean, I don't know about any of you, but I really, really felt that Cesaro and Sheamus were going to walk away with the titles, which they did. But I was hoping that it was going to be in a little bit more of a violent manner than what they did. I mean, it was not, you know, discrediting any of the guys. They did really good, and they had a really good solid match, and there was some really, really good stuff to see. But everybody wants to see Broken Matt and Broken Jeff. And WWE does have plans to do that. It's a matter of time and money. Time, when they can do it, which goes along with the money that they have to pay Impact to use the likeness rights, because apparently they own the likeness rights for the Broken gimmick. I don't really understand all of it, but they do have plans to go that direction. They just haven't yet. And we're all waiting for that one moment where maybe Matt will have another condition that will bring in the awesome Broken gimmick. But I guess we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer for that. Then there was the Cruiserweight title match, a submission match between Austin Aries and Neville. Neville has been absolutely on fire ever since he came back from injury and turned heel in the Cruiserweight division. He immediately captured the title and has just been dominating. And I love this new side of Neville. I always thought he was a good wrestler, but I just couldn't get behind him the way that they were trying to push him as a babyface. You know, the man that gravity forgot, and he's come out wearing the cape and everything. I wasn't into it. But this mean side of Neville is absolutely incredible. He's got me convinced this is a legitimate bad guy. They had an incredible match. Out of all three of the matches that they've had, I would say this one was probably the best. Second place going to their performance at WrestleMania, and third, the last pay-per-view they did. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but this one by far took the cake as far as best quality match that they had. And with it being the third time that Austin has lost to Neville, I'm pretty sure they're going to be done with this rivalry. But therein lies the question: who's going to step up and be the one to conquer Neville? Neville's riding so high right now, and he's so red hot, I don't think they're going to be taking the title away from him anytime soon. But you still have to wonder who's it going to be. Now we get to the main event of the evening, which was a fatal 5-way Extreme Rules match, winner being the number one contender for the Universal title. Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Bray Wyatt. This match, in my opinion, started off kind of slow. The first half, it was mostly dominated. Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt kind of teamed up and was beating everybody up, and that worked. It was really cool. I like to see that. But eventually, like I said, it was kind of slow. There wasn't a whole lot of, it was an Extreme Rules match, but there wasn't a whole lot going on. It was mostly just, Samoa and Bray trying to one-up each other. But then here comes Finn Balor with a chair, as if to say, okay guys, time to get serious. And he's beating everybody with that chair. That's when the match really started to kick up, and it got exciting to watch, because then you see other high points, Seth Rollins diving through the air and crashing somebody through the table. And then when it's all said and done, Samoa Joe ends up victorious, slaps the coquina clutch onto Finn Balor. Finn Balor does not tap out. He just passes out, and the ref stops the match. Samoa Joe is the #1 contender to face Brock Lesnar, the champion. Now, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that this is a dream match. This is the kind of match that everybody's been wanting to see for a long time. And it's great that we finally get to see it. I knew we were going to see it sooner or later. It just made sense. They had to have a match. I'm just glad that it's sooner rather than later. So what I want to say about Extreme Rules is this. I didn't have any problem at all with any of the matches. What I had a problem with was them calling it Extreme Rules. Because what you see in the pay-per-view, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 matches, was actually the complete opposite. You know, the first match, Dean Ambrose and The Miz. If Dean Ambrose gets disqualified, then he loses his title. That's about as opposite of Extreme as you get. That's literally the opposite of Extreme. He couldn't do anything. And Dean Ambrose, if you know his history and his past, he would have excelled in a more extreme environment. I'm not saying they should try, they should go for blood or color, but give me something, give me a reason that you call this pay-per-view Extreme Rules like you have in the past. You had chairs matches, you had ladder matches. Something a little more than, well, if he gets disqualified, then that's it. Okay, so the following night on Raw is very, very typical. It's, the night after a pay-per-view. We're either, starting new rivalries or we're continuing on existing rivalries. The best segment that came out of this episode of Monday Night Raw had to have been the altercation between Paul Heyman and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe's out there. He's soaking in his victory from the previous night. He's talking about what he's going to do. And then here comes Paul Heyman. And Paul says his words. I guess for some reason Samoa was upset that Brock Lesnar wasn't there and that Paul Heyman was. And so he decides that he's going to take out Paul Heyman, which doesn't really happen on TV that often. If somebody's got their hands on Paul, then it's special. Because a lot of people get mad at Paul and they want to beat Paul up, but they never really get a chance to. He's an advocate. Smackdown is getting ready for their next pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank, and I'm really looking forward to this. For the first time ever, there's going to be a women's Money in the Bank ladder match. They're still talking about the Mae Young Classic. I don't know when that starts, but I know it's sometime this summer, and we're definitely going to be going over that, so look forward to that. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this first episode of One Fall Friday. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be doing this every Friday. I know it's not everybody's popular video. I know it's not something that everybody wants to see, but it's something that I love, and I love talking about the business, and I don't really have a lot of friends that I can talk to about this. I mean, I have some friends, but I could go on and I could talk about this kind of stuff all day, every day. So it's good to just reach out to the audience of the internet world and just give my opinions and my views on things. I'm not by any means any kind of professional analyzer. I'm just a fan. I've been a fan since I was a kid. I'm a fan of the business, what goes on behind the scenes, and I just like to talk about it. So this is why I wanted to do this show, just to get my thoughts out there and get everything off my chest so I could ramble on about wrestling and not have to feel weird about it. But thank you guys very much for watching this episode. I'll be back later with another video. Hope to see you there. My name is Dave, and I am the One Man Rave. See ya!